Okay, greetings in Hotep. I thought I would give you all some more content to, criticize and try to poke fun at. I guess you all don't get it. I'm fighting for my life, the life of my children, and the life of the next 10 generations for my legacy. So the little petty things that you all want to talk about, my covers being dirty, my fingernails being dirty, how's that going to move me when my soul is at stake? You understand? Yeah, okay. So I haven't done, so I thought I would just uncover the camera so you all could take it all in and have plenty to talk about. I should have recorded the rat that was here. You hear the engine of that truck right there? The hackers, they be everywhere. I'm trying to break energy weapons carrying copper and large magnets. I have a lot on my mind, and a lot of the witches and warlocks have fallen off. Some of them are dead. Some of them, they are dying. Their gifts have been stripped, and they are dying because of what they've done to me. And not just me, because before me, I'm sure they were doing the same thing to other people. My heart is heavy because I disobeyed God, and it's frustrating me. Several things are frustrating me. These gray hairs, top of my head, are frustrating me. I don't have money to buy prenatal vitamins, and I'm not pregnant, but it's just my practice to take prenatal vitamins. And I need copper, I need vanadium, and selenium. And it frustrates me when I cannot take care of my health because this is my wealth. My temple, my body is my wealth. And when you all take my resources, you're taking my wealth. We think differently. Me being able to get on my bicycle and ride from Amazing Love to USF, that makes me rich. That makes me wealthy. Me jumping on my bike and being able to ride down to Ybor City and still have energy to enjoy myself when I get there, that makes me wealthy. And when I started out on this heal people journey, I was just healing, healing, healing. And I wasn't even asking God. I wasn't talking to the Creator too much to find out, is this okay? And it's like the people that I was investing in healing, when they turned on me to offer me up as a sacrifice and take my things to better their lives, which meant basically to go get a nicer house, a nicer car, a prettier girl, a finer guy. It devastated me because I was under the notion that if you are good to people, they will be in turn good to you. And that's not how that works. Sometimes you're good to people and they hate you because what you represent and the way they're living is so different that they are envious and jealous and they don't know what to do about it. Instead of asking you for help or trying to listen to you and use your life as an example, they would prefer to destroy you so that they don't have to think about that. And as bizarre as that is, that's real. So here I go again this morning with dirty fingernails. I've had my breakfast, which was 2 packs of chocolate covered peanut M&Ms. That's what I ate for breakfast, and that was pretty delicious. You hand your check over to them. Look at them, man. And about they ain't playing. 16 ounces of aloe vera. I'm cleansing myself with aloe vera, and this person that wants your attention and everything, I want. Stay with it, man. Okay, threaten them with the police. If you all are coming to me for money, please don't do that to me, okay? I mean, you can write a letter. I don't have friends. I have children. I don't have friends, okay? Everybody who I consider to be a friend has basically offered me up for death so that they could live a better life. And that kind of traumatized me. So now I haven't done a song review in a while. So the song that I am really kind of vibing off of right now, it's a beautiful song. There's two of them. One is secular and one is a Christian song. So I don't know. This says the official video, so I know I can't do much of it. So I'm going to skip, and then I'm going to just push my finger and ask God to. Okay. So, when all hope is gone, no. Let me see. That's not it. Okay. Without borders, let me walk upon the waters. You call me deeper than my could ever wander. My faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. Okay, so that's the song that I'm vibing off of. Now, last week I needed to go and charge the box, our generator. And I said, shit, I'm going to go. I don't feel the presence of my brother anymore. And I don't know if that means he's dead or he's in jail. But I don't feel his presence like in close proximity. He's not at Grandma Irene's house anymore. That's what I'm thinking. I don't feel his presence. So I told Angola, I'm going to go over here to Cousin Toy's house. Now, I don't usually call my Grandma Irene's house Cousin Toy's house and use the electricity. If she's there, I'll ask her. But I really plan to sneak. And so I said, God, can I go over there? God said, yes. And then fear came up and said, what if Anthony's over there and he tries to do something to you? And I allowed fear to stop me. So I was like asking today as I'm listening to tarot and the energy they're picking up, somebody was going to be there that I could talk to. And I think it was going to be Toy. And I think Toy was going to give me my mail. And so now I'm laying here, you know, the guilt that you feel after you've allowed the devil to manipulate you and bamboozle you, that guilt that you feel in your stomach and you can't get rid of it. And so I had to ask God to please forgive me. I called on the law of forgiveness. Then I called on the law of transmutation, asking God to transmute the anger and the hurt that I was feeling and to give me another opportunity. So I want to say to all of you all who were bamboozled by the devil, and you might want to ask for my forgiveness and make atonement in some way, try to make things right with me by giving me my paperwork, my money, and I owe you for the money that you stole from me. I want to openly give you an opportunity to do that. And I'm shocking myself because I have tried to stay in a spirit of anger, out of fear. And this song came across my YouTube feed, and it is so arresting my soul. And it is speaking exactly the words that I want to say to God. If I am your child and I am your instrument, I shouldn't be in fear. Now, when you tell me there is danger, stay in the house. When you tell me there's danger, don't go that way, go this way, then I need to obey that because I don't know the workings of the universe. I just know that recently, if I listen to you, things work out. So I am trying to listen to the voice of the creator of this universe. And I still don't know the inner workings, so I don't have many answers. I'm trying to treat it just like a dummy. Like, okay, I will obey. And that's where my solace rests. So this has to be God arresting me. God arresting me and saying, hey, the same way you're asking me to give you an opportunity to be forgiven, the same way you're asking me to transmute the hurt and yuckiness that you're feeling because you disobeyed me and you feel like you're missing out on something, you have to extend that to other people. It was hurting me so bad that I wasn't able to buy my children the things that they needed and wanted. It was hurting me so bad that I wasn't able to go to Indian Rocks Beach and just hang out for maybe a month or so and just sit in the water and just get waterlogged and just look in the sky and talk to the Creator and thank Him. Put my feet in the dirt and put mud all over my body and restore my soul. That's the kind of stuff I want to do. Um, and then when I could point to people that took the money, it was like, God, please take this hurt, this anger that I feel for these people for doing this to me. And eventually God did. And it was like, whew. When I'm listening to Tarot and they're like, oh, they're coming to get your money. Every time they would say the money, it's like it really annoyed me. And I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, so I still got the curse of this Leviathan. How do I say it? Give me the words. Creator God, give me the words. The Leviathan curse that allows you to lust after money more than lusting after winning the souls of God's people. So for all of the people that spirit cooked me, for the 50 plus people that spirit cooked me, including the judges, the attorneys, the private investigators, the law enforcement officers, the police officers, the Hillsborough County Sheriff officers, the siblings, the baby daddies, the best friends, the friend girls, the boyfriends, for everybody, the mailmen, because that's who I've been mad at lately. I sit here and record them going over to Fred's house, dropping off mail, and they stop at the people next door, the Jamaican people here, in the nice light green house. We're the dirty light green house. They're the nice light green house. And the mail going by. And I'm like, did they get my FEMA check, God? You gotta help me. You gotta. And it's like, God is like, relax. You said you work for me. If you work for me, then you know I got you. You know I got you. So just quit tripping. When I go to the grocery store, I was in Save-A-Lot the other night. Last night we were where? Okay, last night Angola went and I didn't go, so the night before. Today is Monday, that was Sunday night, Saturday night. I was at Save-A-Lot and thinking about Cousin Toy, because Cousin Toy used to always go to Save-A-Lot, buy her spaghetti sauces and pasta, and when she invited me to come stay with her shortly after I gave birth to Abby, she came and I thought rescued me from 2212 East Mallory Avenue, Tampa, Florida 33605, which should be my property. I should have stuck it out and stayed there. I would already have chickens and probably a couple of goats and plenty of papaya trees and cactus and aloe. But I left at the invitation of my cousin Toy. She was working third shift, and I stayed there with Fahim and Jamal, her two boys. And then my two girls and I stayed there in a apartment, Bristol Bay, down 50th Street, with air and heat, because we didn't have that in the little shotgun house on Mallory Avenue, but we had independence. and we could live how we wanted to live, and we didn't have to answer to anybody. And that I have realized, if you're living on a plot of land and you ain't even got no house, that's better than moving into a house where people can lie about your character and twist the narrative. And that's what happened. You know, everybody invited me to come stay with them so that they could use me to help them accomplish a goal. And because I didn't pay them money, they felt like they got nothing from me. But what I offered to them was worth money. That's the only reason they had me there. And I was thinking about Cousin Toy because she used to shop at Save a lot, but Save a Lot is no longer saving much of anything, and then the quality of the food is not very great. And so I was feeling frustrated because I still don't have a propane cooker or anything. So I figured this must be God, because there's no way that, and we've been here about 18 months in Johnny B. Smith's place. And I was looking for something to buy. I thought we'll have salads. We'll make salads. And the meats to add to the salad were very expensive. Eggs are very expensive. And so I ended up getting spinach. So I thought I'd just make like a little spinach salad for the girls, because we're all trying to make sure our iron levels stay up. And I got 4 cans of ravioli, beef ravioli, Chef Boyardee. And their formula has changed. They're terrible. But that's what I ate. Chef Boyardee out the can. And we had noodles, the ramen noodles. Hot water from Wawa. Stick your noodles in there and eat your ramen noodles. And for dessert, we had M&Ms, right? Yeah. So I guess I'm kind of thankful that Angola did not go out into the world and do her selling, because we have pretty much, I bought 2 of these boxes. That's 52 times 2 is 104. And I have really been tearing up these M&Ms. And it takes me a long time to eat them because I only have 1 tooth up top. So I have to place the M&M in between my 2 fingers and then kind of like saw at it. So it takes about a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes to eat 1 M&M. So it slows me down and it allows me to kind of enjoy the texture and the taste of the peanut. I don't want to lose my point. In the age of Aquarian, things are going to get so tight that people are going to have to go back to bartering. I'll babysit for you in exchange for room and board, which is one of the things I did with my family because I wanted to take care of my own children. I didn't want to put them in daycare. I didn't want them in public schools. I did plan for Abby and Angola to go 1 year to boarding school. That was when Lawrence and I were planning to go to China and work on whatever ministry he had planned. He never gave me any details. And I was working on my resource center / school, my tri-generational resource center, which somebody took my notes or whatever and they created one over in East Tampa. And that's okay, I guess. That happens a lot. People steal my notes and then they rush off and try to do it. But they find that they just have a building. The energy is not there. So in the age of Aquarian, God is going to reveal to you how important energy is. See, when Luther Vandross was singing, "A house is not a home," a lot of people don't understand what that means. You don't see the wind, but you know it's there. And let me see, can you see these leaves moving? You see the leaves moving? You see the leaves, that's the physical material part. But what's moving the leaves? That's the spirit. And so whenever I come to your house, I bring God's spirit. And you feel good. Everybody feels good. You might not have food, but when I come, we going to get some food. If we got to make 5 pantry runs. God kind of took away the arrogance and the uppity attitude that I had in my 20s, where, I wouldn't go here, I wouldn't go there, I couldn't eat that and couldn't eat this. And God said, provisions, however I provide for you, I provide for you. So I will go to the pantry and I will fill your cabinets. And I'm a pretty good cook. I'm not into the gourmet shit. I like more like Southern cooking, just a nice, well together, simple meal. I'm even challenging now all these seasonings. And I'm like, God, I don't want to be sprinkling garlic powder. I want to have garlic. I don't want to have to buy all these little bottles with this little ground up, whatever it is. I don't know what's in it. So I'm starting now with, I got a rosemary, sage, and thyme flower pot that I bought from Publix. And I've been chewing on the sage leaves and just really thanking God for reconnecting me back to my naturopathic, homeopathic, Ayurvedic ways. And if in between that I get into some junk food and eat some McDonald's or whatever, I don't stress myself out about that. I don't stress myself out about much anymore in this life. Somebody, a whole bunch of somebodies was trying to kill me, and I thought I was going to die for a little bit. Especially, can I say this scenario? God, when Pastor Eva came to that church that Wednesday, I ended up being so sick. Now, I didn't think anything. When I saw her, I was on edge because I immediately thought Thomas sent her. And through the tarot, it made it sound like he was trying to offer me up as a sacrifice for something. The other scenario that was floating around is that somebody in my circle took the plug's drugs and messed them over, and they were going to use me as a scapegoat. Now, here you talking about a woman that ain't never done one drug a day in her life, ain't never drank one alcoholic drink or beverage. You all know about me making homemade cough syrup with the miniatures, the 99 proof miniature. I will keep a miniature or two in my little medicine cabinet because I make homemade cough syrup with the 99 proof vodka, honey, and some kind of citrus, whether that's lemon, grapefruit, or orange. The juice of it, you mix it together and you take 2 tablespoons and you feel pretty good later. So I didn't know who was doing what, who was trying to lie on me and make it seem like I sold drugs. I'm beginning to think that that was a scenario that was crafted over at Dr. Twiggs's building because, there was a lot of drug addicts at that building. When we went to that building, the door was wide open, and of course there were condom wrappers and cigarette butts and baby oil because that was a place that people went in and out of to do drugs, to do tricking, to trade sex for drugs and that kind of thing. Laying in the building talked to me. And then when we had to clean out the building, when we were cleaning out the building to move in, that was the day I lost our dog, Dash. And I had to make a lost dog flyer. And we didn't find the dog, so the girls were sad, and we went to the Pet Resource Center, and we had to interview with the dog if you wanted to get another dog, and they didn't have any small dogs. They only had big dogs, and that's how we ended up with the big dogs. And then after we picked up the big dogs, we were there picking up the big dogs, and I think a set said, "Mom, let's look through here." And we looked through the lost dogs, and there was Dash. So the next day, we went and picked up Dash from the Humane Society. He was over on Armenia at the Humane Society, because I would have never chose to get big dogs, but God knew what he was doing. These large dogs have saved our lives from people coming in the yard, from people trying to come near me to attack me. And that's why I've decided, obey God, go with the flow, trust God. So it frustrated me that I got scared to go to Grandma's house, Irene P. Scarborough's house at 2913 East 20th Avenue, because I missed out on something. And whenever you disobey God, usually there's a cycle of karma. You have to endure some negative something because of karma, but lately my karma has not lasted long. So by me acknowledging that this morning, asking God to forgive me, calling on the law of forgiveness and transmutation, it seemed like as soon as I spoke it, it was forgiven. So now, the next time God tells me to do something, even if the threat of losing my life is in the equation, my job is to obey and do it. And the blessing will be there for me. So I still don't have my paperwork. I still don't have not one property and not $1 from my inheritances from the sale of houses that I own and or partially own. And I'm feeling great. I'm so thankful to be alive, and I'm so thankful that I made it, that I don't have many complaints. And I'm thankful to God because he has tried to level me up in this position quite a few times, and I ignored it. Can I give this example, God? Okay. So when I was in my 20s, I had my first child on my 18th birthday. And my grandmother, Irene Scarborough, 2828 on the timer, said, "You ain't going to be nothing but a welfare mama if you don't marry that man," the person I was pregnant from. Now, this is the same grandmama that told me that my boyfriend was a drug dealer. I said, my boyfriend work at Robbins Lumber on 131st Avenue in Nebraska. Okay? Or let me see, is Robin Lumber on Nebraska or Florida? I think it's Nebraska, if it's still there. Now, my youngest sister, Ava, she hung out like in Ponce de Leon projects and Belmont Heights. Ponce de Leon projects was usurped by Belmont Heights. So Belmont Heights is the embodiment of Ponce de Leon projects and Belmont Heights projects, which is now an apartment community. And I was afraid to go to the projects because I've never been a fighter. I don't like the way it feels when people hit on me. I don't like, going blow for blow to see who's stronger. I don't like it. So back in the day, 29th and Lake were lit. And that's where people would go to prostitute, sell drugs, buy drugs, be a part of the fast life. And I was heavy into the Christianity, and I would not drive down 29th and Lake. Okay? But my sister would, and she would be like, "Aileen, you know John over there with Jay?" Oh, Lord, was I supposed to say that? No. I'm sorry. Damn it. Help me, God, protect information. Should I continue on telling this story? Yes. So let me talk around it. I don't like putting people's information out unless it is direct order of God, or People who directly piss me off, when they do something to me and I'm angry, I usually have no filter. But I feel like, as Ava would say, even swap ain't no swindle. So if you have put a hit out on me and I talk shit about you offering me cocaine, that's hand in hand, because I left your house only because you offered me cocaine and I told you no in 3 different ways. So you were trying to turn me out as far as I was concerned. And I could no longer look at you as husband material because my husband is not going to put me in harm's way. And since you put me in harm's way, you weren't trying to be my husband. You were trying to create a pimp whore relationship. And it took me a lot of years to lay here and figure it out, because I was evicted June 2nd, 2022, and we're headed towards June 2nd of 2025. That's 3 years that I've been out in the wilderness. But let's go on back over here to what the example I was trying to give. And I'm going to try to stop being so detailed because it rolls to me, but you all don't know my life, so you might be confused. So back to the example that God gave me permission to give you on how you can make a 4-day trip or a 40-year wandering experience. God sent a wonderful man to me. Can I say that part? Who offered to marry me back in, man, I gave birth in 88. I started junior college in 89, 90. Maybe it was in like 1990, 91. Harold McRae. I should have married Harold McRae. If I would have married Harold McRae, I would still have teeth. I would still have a beautiful banging body. I would still have beautiful feet and beautiful hands. I wouldn't have warehouse hands and feet and terrible dentures and stretch marks. That would not have been. But I did not have sense enough to marry Harold McRae. And I really think it was witchcraft from my family. They were trying to make sure I didn't get married so they could keep me around, so that they could continue to energetically pull from me. But I didn't even believe in witchcraft back in 1990, 91, 92. I didn't believe that. So, as a result of me not taking God's gift to me, I've been on my 40-year trek, right? So now we have warehouse hands, warehouse feet. You see what my skin looks like. Like, what the fuck? What kind of chemicals have you all been poisoning me with? And for how long? That's the big deal. The reason that I couldn't see that they were poisoning me, because I am a supplementer. I believe in taking my vitamins. I'm going to take 2 one-a-days every day. So if I'm peeing out extra money, I ain't got no problem with that because I am worth it. And me taking good care of my body is the reason that I did not break down. But when they evicted me and they took everything, except for the car that Lawrence gave me, I drove that across the street and parked it on the sidewalk. And they took all of my banana boxes with all of my oils, my primrose, my flaxseed, omega 369, my krill, my vitamins, everything to fortify my body. Now, when I'm eating Cheetos and drinking Mountain Dew for dinner, it's breaking me down quickly. So I see the difference when I look at me. I see the difference. Now, a lot of people are like, "Oh yeah, you look. I mean, you look okay to be 54, but I should look beautiful. I should look like, wow, I didn't know that was possible." Because that's what God put me here. That's one of my jobs, to show people what it looks like when you take care of yourself, when you clean yourself, when you have a clean mind and a clean heart. Your nails might not be clean, but when the inside of you, you have a clean soul, what you can look like. See, cleaning the body, cleaning this up in here, getting it renovated, that's doable. But if you got a weak inside, a dirty heart, a dirty soul, that's why y'all wear all them trinkets and shit. That's why you got to have so much gold and so much bedazzle, because you're trying to deflect from the fact that your soul ain't right. You might not even have a soul no more. That you have demons in your gut. That's why it pokes out so much. You ain't got one, you got legions, demons that are inside of you. And so, and I'm not going to keep doing that. I'm breaking a habit and I'm breaking a pattern right now. I learned this technique with Anthony Robbins. What was the name of that? I used to listen to those tapes over and over again back in the early 2000s. Let me see. Anthony Robbins, Awaken the Giant Within. I think that was the name of it. And he's got a new something going on. Okay, so
Anthony Robbins, Awaken the Giant Within.
Decades ago, I used to listen to Anthony Robbins over and over and over and over and over again. So he teaches you how to break a bad habit. Like when the thought comes in, you have to create an image of something that replaces that old image, and you slam your new image on top of the old image. And that's how you create a new image. 3737 on the timer. So I'm trying to go back to my humble roots and restructure my life. That's the goal anyway. So the whole point to me saying all of that was to say I'm softening my exterior. We consider ourselves to be camping indoors. We consider this to be a house, but it's not a home. We're thankful to be here, and I do want to say thank you, Johnny B. Smith Sr. and Johanna L. Johnny B. Smith Jr. You have truly saved our lives. Us being here has saved our lives. So they have been trying to give me homelessness to make it easy to take my destiny and take my legacy and take my inheritances and take my life. They don't mind having the children because the children bring wealth to them. So, and I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about the adversary and their delights. I know what it's like to be bamboozled by the devil. And I know the remorse that comes up in your soul, if you still have a soul. Some of you all, y'all just playing games and you want to lure people back into a situation where you can take advantage of them. And that's why God said, be ye ready at all times, I'm assuming. God said that. So I do want to offer an opportunity for you all to approach me. Don't come right up on me, because I still have a problem with trust. I am still dealing with great sadness and shock and disappointment. A lot of you all, I thought you had more substance than you obviously did, but I guess that's life. So if God compels you to approach me to say sorry, I would prefer it better if you write it down. And I do expect IOUs, and I do expect you all to put me and my children in your wills so that you can give us back what you took. I don't know how the law is going to deal with it. I mean, if you took insurance policies, then the insurance company may file charges against you for what you took, because God has already told me they're going to give me my stuff back full, full with interest. So I'm going to be recompensated. And I guess law enforcement, the Department of Insurance, they have a way that they deal with people that defraud them out of their money. If your soul is carrying hurt and anger and agitation, and you feel compelled to ask for my forgiveness and apologize to me, I would prefer you do it on paper. You can write a letter, or you can buy an SD card, put it in your phone, talk out what you want to say to me, and then give me the SD card in an envelope or something. And if you can't do that, then I will entertain being in your presence and allowing you to say to me what you want to say to me. I'm going to do my best to be in the spirit of God's grace. And I want to extend to you the same thing God extended to me. He forgave me. He transmuted the hurt and the aggravation that was in my soul because I missed out on something as a result of me falling into fear. And a lot of times we feel like, if I don't steal this money, I'm not going to be able to pay my rent. If I don't do this, I won't be able to make my car payment. I was devastated. I did something I said I would never do. I tell the whole story, say it all, God. Oh my goodness. Well, this is obviously going to set somebody free, so I'm going to obey. After Lawrence allegedly died on July 13th of 2020, I didn't have his financial help and support anymore. And I wasn't a weight to him. I mean, at first, when he invited me just to stay there, sleep there, so I didn't have to go back to 6010 North 32nd Street and fight with Anthony, who I recognized he was dealing with hurt and pain. And, you know, he lost the place out at Summerfield at the golf course. And I'm sure he felt like he was making it in life. I suspect he took shortcuts to get there. And that's the problem. When you take the shortcuts, it's not a solid foundation. So after he and Tina Fernandez and my twins and her mother had to move out of the house that was right there on the golf course in Summerfield, he had to come back all the way down to 6010 North 32nd Street, the home that he grew up in. And of course he was mad as shit. But he didn't have the right to come there calling us motherfuckers and niggas. You understand? And I know, being in a place that's packed full of three generations of stuff, my parents, us, and then our children. So that's the house I grew up in. My parents bought that house. Arthur and Dorothy Atkins built that house. And all of the children came from the hospital to that house. Ava, Alva, Anthony, Aileen. I'm Aileen. And then now we're bringing our children back there and raising our children there. The girls anyway. Anthony didn't bring his girls back to the house to be raised there. His girls were with their mother, and then when they came to stay with Anthony, they went to Opelika, 700 East Harem Avenue in Opelika, where he was living. Or maybe he was living at another address, but you get my point. So the house was packed full of shit. I'm trying to do a flea market business. I got my crap there. Anthony is trying to run his roofing business. He's got his crap there. furniture left behind by Ava and Alva from when they left, moved out, came back. So this house is just, stuck with all this stuff, 3 generations. They blame the junkiness on all me, but if you look at the pictures, it's clearly not all my stuff because the roofing takes up a lot of, room. The big rolls of whatever that stuff is, and the large buckets of tar and roofing material and nails, and you know how that works. So he was frustrated, and I wanted to try to sympathize with him and give him room and space to move around, but the house is small. It's 3 bedrooms, but when you have 2 grown people, my brother's an Aries, he's a fire sign, and I am a Sagittarius fire sign on the cusp of Scorpio. Whoa, big problem. So that makes me fire and water, so you get steam out of that. So it was a bad combination because we both have somewhat dominant personalities. Now, I didn't start out with a dominant personality, but as a result of having babies from men who walked away from me and left me to raise my babies, I developed this dominance from going out into the world and having to get a job and work and get an apartment and pay my bills. And when there's a noise outside, I had to become the man to make sure that my child was okay. The first 15 years, I had 1 child. And not because I was such a good girl, I used abortion to keep my family small. And when I got in my 30s, I thought, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to have any more children. So when I got pregnant, I decided to have the children as opposed to killing them by way of abortion. And I have asked my children that I killed to forgive me, and I believe they have. And my twins that were stolen from me, a Moon and a Set, my boy-girl twins that were taken from me into DCF custody the day that I gave birth to them. I think I was in DCF custody even when my babies were in my womb. It didn't become apparent to me until I was in the hospital, and they didn't let me leave with my children. I gave birth to fraternal boy-girl twins on May 26th of 2004 at Morton Plant Mease Hospital, Clearwater Beach, Florida. I had aborted a set of twins in my 20s. My father was still alive, and I was taking care of my father, and he was on hospice. He had end-stage liver disease, cirrhosis from drinking Seagram's gin since he was 15, and he was 60, so what's that, 45 years plus? And I was doing Jay Korovich's The Juice Man. I was juicing, I was trying to juice 100 pounds of juice and feed it to him through his feeding tube. And it seemed to be working. He sat up and started talking. I aborted a set of twins back in that time period. And I feel like my twins that I gave birth to came back to me. And then I had 2 other children that I feel like came back to me. So there was one other abortion that maybe has come back to me because I was pregnant in May of 2020. And then all of a sudden, I was no longer pregnant. So I really believe that I was roofied, and I believe they went in my body and took that baby out of me. But I believe they kept the baby and they were raising the baby. And I believe the baby was allowed to live until about 4 years old. And because I started talking on YouTube about this, I believe they killed the baby. And it's a very emotional thing. The people that are involved are saying, oh, she's crazy. She needs to be locked up. I want you all to know something. There's a lot of very evil things happening. We need to restructure the way the rooms are in our houses. When you go in your room and you close your door, there should be a metal bar or a magnetic something that allows your children to lock themselves in. There are people in the house with you that when it gets dark, let's say, I'm going to do this. Let's say that I'm a pedophile. I'm a man. And I have bamboozled this woman into believing that I love her and I want to make a life with her and she and I get married. I am a man and I am a pedophile. And we start having children. They're my children. But if I'm a pedophile, I may not be able to not molest my children because of the sickness that is hiding inside of me. So when my wife and I put our children to bed and she and I are drinking our coffee or our little nightcap and I drop a roofie, I don't even know what the name of the drug is. Let me find out when they roofie you what drug that is. What is the technical name of the drug that people roofie women with? I don't know how to say that.
What is the technical name of the drug that people roofie people women with?
Okay, so maybe that is the name. Rofi, no, Rofi. I don't know. One of those has to be silent. Probably the H. Rofi, Rohypnol, Rohypnol. Okay, so I don't know if that's the only date rape drug. Let's see. Date rape drug symptoms. Allegedly, somebody has used my name and my insurance information to buy drugs off of the
might be more common than we think. In fact, research
dark
once
web.
told us that around
Now,
one-third of
I don't
sexual
even
assault
order
cases
drugs.
involve
There's
date
no
rape
reason for me to
drugs.
take any drugs. I don't
What are the most
have
common date
any
rape
health
drugs? What do they
symptoms
do to the
that
body?
require
If you think
drugs.
you've been exposed or poisoned and sexually assaulted, what should you do? And importantly, how can you reduce your risk of being poisoned with date rape drugs and becoming a victim? What is date rape? Before we get into date rape drugs, let's talk about date rape itself. Date rape refers to non-consensual intercourse. Finally, we have GHB. GHB is a depressant that can make you feel euphoric and also cause hallucinations. And in most common date rape drugs, rohypnol might be the easiest to spot. It's currently manufactured as an olive green tablet. So if rohypnol is dissolved into a lighter colored drink, it might dye the drink blue, but not always. In addition to being a common date rape
Bingo.
drug, ketamine
This
is
is
a
what I keep
well-known street
hearing.
drug. It sometimes goes by the name vitamin K or special K.
Vitamin
Ketamine
K.
triggers hallucinatory effects that are similar to PHP. Some other signs include trouble breathing, seizures, and problems with coordination. Ketamine can be a...
Okay, so now let's say I put one of those. You saw 3: ketamine, GHB, and rohypnol. And I'm saying it wrong, I'm sure. Let's say I put that in my wife's drink and now she's knocked out. I can also have done the same thing to the children. In their little Kool-Aid, their little Capri Sun, I could have liquefied it, injected it into the Capri Sun pack, okay? So they're sucking down the Capri Sun, and now they're knocked out. So now I can go into my children. I can have sex with my children. And when they wake up, they don't know that they have been anything. You understand me? There are evil people who are doing this kinds of things to you. Go further? No. There's a lot that has happened to me, and there's no sense in saying it all. People aren't going to believe it. What I do, as opposed to running down to the police station and trying to report something, I report it to God. Because God, I report it to my ancestors, the angels, they are the best at bringing karmic justice. When you go to the police, you need proof. And in this society, something that happened to you 5, 8 years ago, what proof do you have? A bunch of thoughts that are returning back to your mind. The person that did it to you is only going to say she's crazy. She's already been Baker acted. When she was giving birth to her kids, they Baker acted her, right? So not only do you not have proof, what you have set up now is a situation where, in my opinion, the men that do this have to be able to afford to buy these drugs. They have to be able to buy secrecy. So what I'm trying to say to you, most of the time when this happened, these men, and I'm sure there's women that are doing it to women and women that are doing it to men as well. I'm posing it as a male thing because the people that took advantage of me and may have taken advantage of my children are men. These are men of so-called power in society. They have positions, they have good jobs, they have designer cars, they have nice homes, they have extra income to spend on this kind of thing. So these people who have power can pay people behind the scenes and say, hey, I'm going to set this up where she comes to you as a psychologist, and we're going to have marital counseling, but you're going to put on paper, she's crazy, she's hallucinating, she's hearing voices. Now, that's not what happened in the counseling session, but I'm going to pay you to put this on paper so that I can get custody of the children, and I can lord this over her and manipulate her and force her to stay in this marriage with me and force her to keep these secrets. A lot of that is happening. And if you don't keep the secrets, then what they do is overdose you on fentanyl or something. They roofie you and then give you some fentanyl or something and then overdose you and then say, well, she OD'd or she committed suicide. There's a lot of dead people in the ground that this has happened to. So what God said to me is, instead of whining and repining, take responsibility for how you lived your life. You lived too loosely. You're at your friend's house laying on the couch, and he keeps his door open at night. So, you put yourself in harm's way. They could have ran in here and jugged your ass in the neck with whatever. And you're sleeping, so by the time you try to wake up to see what's happening, the drugs are overtaking you. Whether it's, I think they use horse tranquilizers also. So now, because you have lived in such a loose fashion, you put yourself in harm's way. So you can blame him for doing that to you, but you dangled the carrot. And that's how I deal with myself. Am I saying every woman or man that has been taken advantage of should blame themselves? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That way you can take power over your healing. If you continue to put it off on the other person like they have the power, then they continue to have power over you. So when you say to yourself, well, you shouldn't have been over there on that couch. I was at a person's house who, I'm going to stop saying his name. I'm going to stop saying the address because it doesn't matter. This is the same demonic energy that's moving through all people that's doing this. God told me to go in the bathroom and sleep in the bathroom. Now, the first time, the time before when, the time before when I actually did it, I believe is when something happened to me that I would have been saved from. God said, don't stay here, leave now. And I was offered a plate of food and I ate the food. They can put these drugs in food too. And whenever you are eating food that's really, really spicy, you can suspect something might be in that food. Now, there's a lot of foods that are spicy. I don't like spicy food, me personally. So I try to stay away from eating spicy food. But that's just one thing, that pepper, they hide the presence of drugs with the pepper flavor. So if I had gone home like God told me to and not stayed there, instead of sitting on the couch and watching another video, I would have saved myself from something. And then I came back because I have these iffy things in my mind, like, why am I thinking like this? Why am I thinking this? Whenever you have something bothering you like that, respect it. Don't keep doing the same thing over and over again. And you're already wondering if something is being done, or you're having the thought and you're like, I wonder why I'm having the thought. Respect it. So the second time I was there at a so-called friend's house, God said, go in the bathroom and sleep in the bathroom against the bathroom door. And I did. And so when the person got up, maybe to look for me to do whatever they were going to do, maybe they got up to use the bathroom. And they came to the bathroom and they couldn't open the bathroom door because I'm in the bathroom sleeping against the door. So I'm pretty sure, because these people are very intelligent. They're almost like the slave masters, the overseers in the field. The overseers used to study the slaves because they wanted to know when there was going to be an insurrection. So they studied them every day, and whenever something shifted in their behavior, in the way they sang the songs, the overseer would go and tell Master, something's going on. I don't know what it is, but something's going on. And you know what that's like when you work someplace and you see people working every day, and then today she comes in and you're like, you don't seem to be yourself. What's going on? Is there anything I can help you with? Because we're spiritual beings. Even though we've been trained out of our spirituality into entities that require physical evidence. Spiritual evidence is always present, but when we ignore it, we allow ourselves to get in trouble. You done heard people say, something told me. What is something? God? Your God? The devil? Something told you. What's the something? And then you meet people that say, it smelled like smoke. Instead of saying, I smell smoke. As Dick Gregory would say, what smells like smoke other than smoke? Not a damn thing. Smoke is the only thing that smells like smoke. And when you smell smoke, you need to get to moving. Moving around the building, trying to figure out where it's at. Getting everybody outside of the building until you can find out where the smoke is coming from. But we have been trained in this society to dismiss the danger signs, the red flags. And so we have to train ourselves back into our divinity. It's something that's given to us by nature when we come out of the womb. Whether we're cut out or we're pushed out, it comes with us. And through schooling and through political correctness, they beat it out of us. You see a little baby, the mama holding the baby on the hip, and the baby says, she fat. And you pop the baby hand and say, don't say that. You make the baby feel like they're doing something wrong. Just like the baby says, blue, dog, cat, pig. When the baby says fat, you're offended. because you care more about the fat lady than you do your baby. The baby didn't lie. The baby saw a fat person. The baby said fat. Now, the fat lady or a fat man got a problem with it. Something's wrong with them, because they should be able to say, yeah, I am fat. Because if you're fat, you're fat. If you're Hispanic, you're Hispanic. If you're African American, you're African American. If you're Caucasian, you're Caucasian. If you're tall, you're tall. If you're short, you're short. So God is taking us back to the basics with the age of Aquarian, moving further in. And if you can't handle the truth, you're going to exit stage left, however God sees fit. And with us being able to go back to the basics and admit the truth, we're going to be able to realign the vibration of the planet and get things back right. Because heaven is coming down to earth. The utopia is going to be here on earth. And God has got to get rid of a whole bunch of people that ain't vibrating right. And that's the blessing. So, did I finish the scenario enough, God, to move on to something else? Yes. So, to reiterate the scenario, I'm a man. I'm a pedophile. I want to hide my pedophilia. So, I hide it by being so polite, so friendly, so accommodating. Whenever you meet somebody that's to this, to that, usually something's being hidden. And you should pay attention to that. So the whole scenario was, I'm a man. I manipulate women by gaslighting them. Oh, you're so cute. You're so this. You're so that. I didn't know what the term gaslighting was. I didn't know the concept of gaslighting. So now as I lay here, I have been able to start reviewing my whole life. And I went from the now all the way back. I started scooting back. So there's been some gaslighters in my energy, a whole bunch of them too. Mostly men. And I don't need to say any names because I'm trying to learn the lesson and I'm trying to share this information with the world so that we can quickly realign the world so that we don't have to suffer so much, so that we can reduce the suffering and we can have less children and we can marry less, because we shouldn't be marrying people unless they are our person. If that is not our match from God, we shouldn't be marrying. And even though we're going out to meet people, we shouldn't really be dating. If we want to hang out in group clusters, we can do that. But this pairing off to go have sex, I don't think it should be happening. I think we should teach masturbation. And I only think we should teach masturbation because people don't have the discipline to withstand and be celibate. People still need the agitation of their private parts to release stress because they haven't learned to release stress in other ways. So they still flock to sexual encounters to release stress. And so until we can teach more tools to properly release stress outside of smacking people up, raping people in all forms, cursing people out, disrespecting people, stabbing people, shooting people as a release. You upset me, you did something against me, so I'm going to kill you and that's going to make me feel better. I don't care if I have to go sit in prison for 10 years. At least I got my revenge. So until we can teach the release of energies within our soul, within our body, within our avatar in proper ways, let's just teach masturbation. And I've never been a fan of, like primary, I'm going to call this primary, meaning we should do it before they can start reproducing. Primary reproduction prevention. So when children are young, I now believe that, and I have to talk about this kind of lightly because allowing people access to your body is something that I do not really approve of. I mean, I'm not into the bloodletting. I'm not into IUDs, even though I'm pretty sure I have been violated and given an IUD without my consent. I think this would be a good idea. I'm talking about IUD for men, IUD for women, young girls and young guys. So that if they mess around and they become sexually active, they don't bring low vibing karmic seed, aka bastards. And even if you're married, but you're not, when you're married and you bring a child forward, but that child was not formed in love, that's still a bastard child. Now, y'all got married on the 3D to save face so that, you can say you're married, but that child was not formed in love. And so it's still going to be a karmic seed on the earth, vibrating low, and it's still a bastard seed. So until you can bring forth high vibing, love children, you ever heard of a love child? That man loved that woman loved that man. And you can see the difference in the person that comes forth. Until you can bring forth a child out of love, let's not bring them forth. And we can do that by using preventive measures ahead of time. Now, people who already can't control themselves, can you really trust them to, remember to put on the condom, or don't poke a hole in the condom, or no, you can't. So the birth control should be offered as an opportunity, an IUD, maybe for the men, the tying of the tubes when they're younger, so that they can move through life, make mistakes without making detrimental mistakes by bringing children into the world that they can't take care of, don't even want. And, they ain't got to be putting no bleach in the baby bottle because he don't want to be put on child support. And maybe just offer it. You can't really mandate it. Something has to be done about the way children are being brought into the world and not taken care of and made to suffer because they don't have two parents that love them and are committed to taking care of them and putting them in good environments and making sure that they sow into the child. And so when I say these things, I am saying them out of desperation, but I am saying them with apprehension, great apprehension, because you have wackadoodles everywhere, even in white coats, that may sterilize people, that may take away their ability to have children, that may need to be going into the body to give an IUD, but they're stealing people's eggs as a side business, selling them. You know what I'm saying? It opens up a can of worms that allows people to misuse their power. And so I don't know what we can do, but it seems like something needs to be done. I was in the store the other day and the lady was like, "Get your ass down, get your ass over here." And I looked around and the baby might have been 3. And I wanted to say something, but it's like, okay, if you say something, What difference is it going to make? You and this bitch might have to brawl. Because this whore is so ignorant that she talked like that to her child, somebody she's supposed to love, her own seed. What she care about you? Now you put your physical flesh in harm's way trying to take up for the baby, but then the baby's still going to leave here and go home with her. So I prayed. That's what I decided to do. That was in Save-A-Lot. And the cashier and I, we exchanged words about it. I was like, I hate to hear parents talk to their children like that. I have spoken harshly to my daughter that's turning 18 a couple of times. There is a book that I would encourage every human to buy. And when you buy it, don't buy one, buy 10. You Can Negotiate Anything by Herb Cohen. I don't know if I can.
You Can Negotiate Anything by Herb Cohen.
Okay, so let's see. This is Herb. Hi, Herb. And this book has a title in it. Let's see. The title is. I'm gonna skip through. I don't do introductions.
My wife and I, we are the parents of 3 children. Our oldest child, our daughter, I remember we had standards for her and insisted she live up to those standards. Second. Third child, we're tired people. You understand? Invariably, we say to him, why don't you ask your brother and sister? Leave us alone. We've been through this already. So I'm saying to you, look, those things that you knew as a kid apply to these situations that you encounter. Whether it's looking for a job, whether it's moving up your organization, whether it's being involved.
I didn't mean to
organizational
get
behavior.
heavily
You
into
can conceptualize and apply it to these situations.
Listening to his training. What I wanted to say to you,
really the same.
The book.
The second major point
I want to make
is
you can negotiate anything.
We do poorly in negotiations. We accept the way the other side has framed an issue or formulated a problem. See, people will say to you, look, you want my business or don't you want my business? Is this a go or no-go situation? They say to you, take it or leave it. You want A or B? See, we evaluate this. We evaluate A. A is good for us. We like A. B is terrible for us. A is good. B is terrible. Well, I'll take good. No, but we look at it again. A is poor. Poor. A is poor. B is terrible. I now got a choice to make. What the hell am I going to pick? I'm going with poor because poor is better than terrible. But never in life is it between A or B. There's always a C in there. There's a J. There's an omega. There's a number 32. So even you know that an ultimatum, which appears on its face to be a twofold choice, you take it or leave it, you all know it's not a twofold choice. Because you can take it, you can leave it, or what else you can do? You come up with another proposal. Now, why do we get caught in that rut so much? Because I suspect that many of you have been raised in North America. You've been subjected to grade school in North America. And if you are, you learn how teachers evaluate bright students. Bright students are recognized one of 2 ways. When the teacher asks a question, they know the answer. Or when the teacher asks a question, they get their hand up first. So speed of response is very important in this culture. But the opposite is true in negotiation. In negotiations, dumb is better than smart. Inarticulate is better than articulate. And you actually want to train yourself to say, I don't know. I didn't understand. What'd you say? Where are we? What the hell's going on? See, teach yourself not to respond so quickly, to dwell amidst ambiguity, to live with uncertainty. Don't clarify things that quickly. Don't frame things that quickly. Just kind of like stagger along.
Okay, Divine Creator, am I still supposed to be letting you watch this?
Is we have too much authority. Okay, the second reason is we're too emotionally involved. This is me, what are you kidding? It's not like just, for the company, it's why I leave. That's why we don't do well with kids. They're our kids, So that's one reason. The second reason was you have too much authority. So it's always a good idea to limit your own authority, even when you have total authority. See, someone says, well, what's your decision? It's a complicated deal. Come on.
And this is an audio
What are
book.
you?
So you can get
Always
this
say, let me
audio
speak
book.
to
How to achieve your
my
goals and
fill in the
negotiate
blank.
anything you
My
want.
wife.
Herb
Even
Cohen.
if you're not married, you say, I want to talk to my wife. I want to talk to our board of directors. I got to check with our banker. You understand? I'm saying it.
Always
Slow
sleep
down.
on decisions. Yeah,
Delay.
definitely.
Use time. Get in the habit of answering questions with questions. If you were me, what would you do?
Okay.
No matter what they say, you're not in trouble because you always come back with, well, too bad you're not me. You are now back to where you were. Ask the...
Neely Fuller Jr.'s book.
Neely Fuller Jr.'s book.
Okay. So Neely Fuller Jr. is a great counselor, and I would say a great negotiator. He's the one that taught me to answer questions with questions. And this is his book. And I would encourage all ethnicities of people to buy this book and read it. This book primarily is a book for, is that true? Maybe his intention was to write a book to help African Americans to understand and better maneuver in a still racist, a supremacist. Let me see. I'm trying to be.
Black Reads.
I'm trying to be diplomatic, and that causes me not to be able to speak frankly. I don't want to upset white people.
Work that's been
So
influencing minds since 1984.
that is a problem.
The United Independent Compensatory Code System concept.
When you can't speak frankly, you can't really solve problems. And that's why America still has its race problems. They don't want to speak frankly, apologize, and atone for the atrocities. So
Imagine a massive puzzle,
this book
one that explains
is
how racism
for
shapes every part of our society.
black people to understand
Exactly what Neely Fuller Jr.
racism and how it still affects
He's
us.
not just talking about
And to be able to talk about it frankly and stop apologizing and cowtelling and putting your head down and shuffling your feet, because it makes white people uncomfortable. And it's not a black-white conversation, because racism happens in many other ways. But for black people, it was primarily a white-black thing, even though the Spaniards and the Portuguese and the French were a part of the slave trade, and even some in certain areas. I don't know history well enough to speak intelligently about it, but when it comes to chattel slavery, it was white people perpetually beating and subduing black people who were brought allegedly from Africa to the Americas for the cultivation of America.
Paul doesn't just describe the problem. He gives us what he calls the compensatory code, essentially a survival and
those atrocities still live. Those atrocities still live in our spirit, in our flesh, in the mind body. This child here, her daddy left when, and yes, you all can pick up the dirty cover. Hopefully I can go and, hopefully I have the energy to go and wash another load of clothes. I washed a load of clothes on Saturday, and I plan to jump on my bike and go back and wash white clothes, because this is going to need some bleach. I burn, you see that little beverage holder right there? I burn the beverage holders to clean spirits, smoke clean spirits out of the air. And people are constantly throwing roots and voodoo around here. They drive around the block doing their little rituals. They have their little coven meetings, definitely on Saturdays. And so I am constantly in spiritual warfare against these covens who want to offer me up as a sacrifice so that they can split up the inheritance that God left me so that I can bring forth my great work. Now, I just showed you Herb Cohen's book. I showed you Dr. Did Neely Fuller get his doctorate degree? Well, I said Dr. Neely Fuller. I showed you his work, but I can't show you my books because my books have been stolen from me. And even though I still have the information in me, I need money in order to bring forth my book into this physical realm. And there are people that I helped along the way as an activist that said they were going to leave me money, people that I helped while they were here on earth that said they were going to leave me money, but when the money is given to me, people who know about the money or the process of looking it up, Natalie Renee Carnegie, Clarence Joseph Washington Jr., Anthony Cathartarus Atkins, Alva Melreen Atkins, Alexander Malik Thompson, the people who get to the mailbox before me and feel like it's okay to open my mail, to steal my mail, Lawrence Alexander Cambridge. And Lawrence, I understand you might have been trying to help my family when you partnered with my brother, but his intentions were not right. And you should have questioned, why does she so vehemently oppose her brother coming back into this house? My brother has demons. I'm suggesting a legion in his gut. Demonic energies use him. He's an avatar for demonic energies. So when he came there and you let him come in and you were bragging to him and you said, oh yeah, your sister's really helping me. See how nice and neat it looks in here. She's cleaning up and straightening the place up. And he said to you, why would you let her come and bring confusion to your house? You were confused, right? Because he came to create confusion. And I allowed him to sit there and say everything he wanted to say to you. And I said to you, Lawrence, don't let my brother come back in here. And then when I left to go to work at that little motorcycle place up on Nebraska, the fat belly Jewish guy's place, I don't even remember, Dave introduced me to him. Motorcycle shop on Nebraska in Tampa, Florida. I don't even remember the name of that place. Let's see. Cycles Plus, I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. So there's 2 businesses there. He still never paid me for the days I worked there. And they stole my purse from up there. And I didn't call the police because Jewish people, they deal with things differently. They feel like if you offend them after 3 times of them telling you to leave them alone, they can try to kill you. And I just took the loss. But when I was at Square Deal buying batteries for my wheelchair, I wasn't buying the batteries. The church was buying the batteries. Heidi had made it so that Mr. Worth could buy batteries for me so I could drive the wheelchair to Amalie Oil, Dark Morning. Who was there? The guy that owned that place. And he said he was selling to, what do you call those things? Catalytic converters. So I thought he was trying to poke fun at me, like they took the catalytic converter off of my Buick LaCrosse, my 2006 Buick LaCrosse, and off of my Astro van that they confiscated in the eviction. And he was selling them to him. But I don't know. I saw him there, so I knew he was a part of what I was going through, me being evicted. And what could I do about it? Men still feel like they lord over women and they control them. So what could I do? I just watched him go in there and talk to the owner of Square Deal. And I waited. So let me tell you what happened. The two batteries that put in the wheelchair didn't even work. So he came to further make it so I could not get to work. They were working in cahoots together. And businessmen do that. What could I do? The church paid for the batteries. They had to take the whole wheelchair apart to get underneath at the base to put in two new batteries. And the two new batteries didn't work. So what could I do? But be stuck some more. So that's just a side conversation. But what I'm trying to say is we have got to get a handle on how we live our lives. Bringing children into the earth when we can't even house ourselves, clothe ourselves, feed ourselves. It doesn't make sense. Now, many times in your family, the grandmother might want the kids because they're lonely, and then they can hem you up and make you pay them child support and go to the courts and tell them how you can't take care of yourself and da 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 da. And then they end up with the children. And then they can get food stamps and all kind of other stuff like that. A lot of people think that way. They want, you know, to take care of themselves. So I said all of that to go back to saying again, if you find yourself wanting to apologize to me, I'm on the bike and I'm on the bus. And most of you all are connected to people who are already following me. So you see me. For you men that are sitting over here in these trucks over here at the park, you might as well take a risk and pull yourself up out of fear and pull up on me and say, hey, I apologize for what I did to you. And I mean, if you mean it, ask for forgiveness. If you mean it. If you don't, then, just stay wherever you are. Okay, God, where do we go from here? Because I've been through so many atrocities. There's a lot of hurt in my heart. I still am waiting on my Department of Labor check that still ain't came to me. And maybe Cousin Toy needed it. Department of Labor, Washington, D.C. So I'll send a complaint to the Department of Labor. I'll call them. I'm going to show you the way it's coming now. If it's almost like you need a hacker in your life, because nowadays these people don't even answer the phone anymore. I wanted to call that number so you could hear them tell you there is no, if you have a personal problem, call the Department of Labor in your area. And then basically the computers are how you're going to get in touch with people. Or if you know some, politicians or something, maybe they can get something done. But it's really turned into kind of like a fraud state, a fraud existence. You got people who have been sworn into office. They have positions of power and they're supposed to be doing certain things, and they abuse their power. When people know things about you, the people who knew that I had not claimed my stimulus checks, I told Donnie I am going to let my stimulus checks pile up because Dave said he's going to sell me a lot 25 feet wide by 100 feet deep for $7,000. So I'm going to take my 3 stimulus checks. Plus, I have 2 children. Well, I have 2 children with me, but on paper, my children might have been in DCF custody. I don't really know what's going on around here. I'm just learning about the audacity of people, the audacity of people, and pay for that lot cash so that me and my children can start branching off. Put a little storage unit on there, sleep in the car if we need to, put the fence around there. My brother didn't like me trying to grow fruit at the house, so when he came from Miami one time, he destroyed my 3 papaya plants, my 3 pineapple plants, a whole bunch of tomatoes because he said it didn't look good. And it didn't look good, you know. The neighbors across the street, their yard is manicured. Do I know? Let me see. If we're 60-10, then they would have been 60-12. I don't know what their address would be. I'm going to see if I can figure it out. 6009 North 32nd Street. That's not right, but $6010 North 32nd Street. Okay, so I'm going to try to see if it has that zoom around thing where you can go around. Let me see if you can look on the other side of here. Let's see. So this is the house I grew up in. This is where they evicted me. Oh, they done added a porch. They added a screened-in porch right there, and took the they added a screened-in porch here. The screened-in porch used to be at the back of the house. They took down the big bushes, but you see this lawn? That's the way they want it to look. And I guess if you're paying $3,000 every 30 days when you come home, you want it to look like some kind of fairy tale. So do they have where you can look around? All right, they kept one tree, got rid of the other one, and put this little island. The mailbox used to be right here, but now the mailbox is over here. See right there? But you see, that's Othela's yard. And they trimmed the bushes. And they, made the fence smaller. Okay. So you see the yards? That's the way they keep the yards. That's TJ's house, which they probably done sold it. And this is where Mr. and Mrs. Wells used to live. You see their yard? Mr. Wells was always out in his yard, taking care of his grass. That's the way they want the grass to look. So if you can imagine, okay, and that's the Canty house. They might have sold their house because there's a, what do you call that thing? RV over there. So if somebody bought that house, they got the RV sitting right there. Now, if I would have let Johnny Will Lofton stay in an RV over here, the plan was behind that gate to put an RV and let Johnny Will Lofton stay in that RV. Now, they got their RV in the front yard. They would have called code enforcement on me. But this is how they want the yard. This was the yard that everybody aspired to keep up with. So they have people coming to spray their yard to make sure they ain't got no bugs, right? And they don't have any children living in this house. This is what I tried to help my brother understand. They ain't raising no children over here. Miss Connie that lived right there in that house, she had one child. Miss Ethel, Tasha, and Bobby Dola, they lived there. They had plenty of children in there. But their lawn was still nice. They weren't trying to grow food. The Canty house right here, they weren't raising any children over there. Over here where I was, I had my 4 children, me, and then Alexander, who had just turned 20, 18, he was like 19 or 20. So right here, Miss Othello, she ain't got no children over there. Most of these houses didn't have small children. And so not only did I have small children, but I was working hard to be a stay-at-home mom and grow food in my yard, have a garden, make my own clothes, and basically live off the land as though I were in the country but in the city. And that wasn't working for him, so he just tore up my and I don't know what to say about it all. This chemically treated stuff like this, you might be able to grow something in it, but I wouldn't want to put my food down in the soil where True Green and Massey comes all the time and sprays. This is where the Massey truck was parked, right there, when I slowly backed out of the yard. See the yard here? I backed out of this driveway, and right here was the Massey's truck, and I tapped the Massey's truck. That was February 8th of 2022, and they did some kind of insurance fraud in my name. I don't appreciate that. I work hard to keep my name good. This is the same place where Abby told me that they even widened. Okay, they took up half the yard and put down concrete. Now, this is my childhood home that allegedly was sold for $306,000, and I have received $0 from the sale of the house. You understand? And my brother Anthony, my cousin Toy, they're kind of like the patriarch and the matriarch of the family in Tampa. And they are the ones that orchestrated the theft of my inheritance. Now, this is one of 6 properties that my mom and dad, Dorothy Atkins and Arthur Atkins, left. And my mom said, don't sell this house. And they sold it anyway. Now, this is Google 2025, so this is a current picture. They just took this picture. And I guess my brother is feeling proud of himself because he is trying to fake like he's some, real estate tycoon or something. But he's taking shortcuts. I'm going to steal from my sister because she's a female. She's weak and I can beat her up. And I'm going to take her wealth and I'm going to make it look like it's my wealth. And I'm even willing to kill her if I need to. And I don't care what happens to her and her 4 children that she's still trying to raise. Now, the twins are 20 years old, but they still don't have high school diplomas, college degrees, technical training so that they can take care of themselves. So it's like throwing them to the wolves. All he had to do was leave us here in this house and make money off the rest of the property. But no. That's the way greed works. So, I don't know where I'm going from here with that conversation. I think they used a fake death certificate. Let's see if you can even get a fake death certificate. Let's see. I don't know how to get on the dark web by myself. My nephew helped me one time when I was looking for Clarence Joseph Washington Jr., this child's father, because I needed financial help. And he left when I gave birth to her, and he ain't been back since. And she will be 18 on her birthday, February 25th of 2025. How to buy a fake death certificate. Let's see if it's possible. Let's see what kind of craziness comes up. Obtaining a fake death certificate is easier than you think. Now, I don't really want the federal government thinking I'm involved in this, but you may be able to get a blank copy of a death certificate from the Vital Records Office in that area or a funeral home in that area. Okay, how to get a certified copy of a death certificate. Okay, so let's ask another question. Can I look this up? Gould's Funeral Home. Gudes Funeral Home, Tampa, Florida. Okay, so my sister has a friend that works for this place, or maybe they own the place, I don't know. She's the one that stole the money that my daddy left me, and maybe they helped her. See how I'm hitting that and nothing's happening? I don't know if that's the hackers or what, but or maybe I just hit the wrong thing. I don't know. Okay, so I'm trying to find out who's doing what. I ain't trying to call Johnny Lofton. Johnny Lofton, that's some weird shit. Wait a minute. It didn't say Johnny Will Lofton. People have the same names all the time. But let's go back here. There's maybe some of that fraud, what do you call it? Fraud, insurance fraud. That doesn't look like Johnny Will Lofton. Johnny Lofton, born November 30th, 1982. I don't know that person. I don't know that person. Divine Creator lines me the truth. Truth glances only in the cloaking. Is this insurance fraud? Yeah, this is probably insurance fraud. I think they're using other people's names or people that they know names, and then and I'm not trying to make them an enemy. Maybe they're not the ones that's. Is there any way for insurance fraud to go through a funeral home without them knowing it? No. Okay, then they got to be a part of it. Okay, so the other people I thought that might have been a part of faking my death, I should have went in there and asked. But if it's under investigation, they would have removed my name from there, right? Do I go back and ask? No. Okay. So let's do this. Tallahassee Funeral Home, Daphne. Maybe this is it. Natalie Renee Carnegie has a cousin that has a funeral home. And I often thought maybe her cousin helped her Daphne Funeral Home, Tallahassee, Florida. She said their name was Al and Daphne. There's no way they don't still have their funeral home.
You have a notification. You have a notification. Notification!
Maybe I should have just said funeral homes in Tallahassee. Beavis. I don't know. Okay, let's do this. And I want to shut up, but they want to steal from me, so I don't really have any obligation to try to protect criminals. Funeral homes in Tallahassee, Florida, run by black people. When you're,
According to Tallahassee Democrat, Strong and Jones Funeral Home, Tallahassee's oldest black-owned business. In times of loss, Strong and Jones Funeral Home was there. Generations of families have turned to Tallahassee's oldest black-owned business to honor and pay their final respect to loved ones and friends.
I don't know if this is it. I don't even know what AL stands for. AL. That says Darnell Lawrence. and Lynn Griffin, co-owners of Strong. Mamie Johnson Simmons. All right, so let's do this. I don't know how much was caught, 'cause somebody is clipping in and out on my live. It says you're reconnected, so let's just redo what we did. Black funeral homes in Tallahassee, Florida. Anderson McQueen. Let's see. Why can't I remember the name of the funeral home that Natalie Renee Carnegie and her cousin Daphne owns? Is this it? No, they're still around. Yes, I don't think funeral homes too often go out of business, especially if they have family members that can take over. Funeral home in Tallahassee run by Daphne and Al. So I don't know any other way than to just say as much as possible. I don't know why this strikes me as something it might be. But I'm assuming that there had to be a funeral home to handle my fake death. Right? That doesn't look like, this doesn't look like the one, but 57 years in business. No. I don't know, but let me finish. I want to put it on charge. It's 3:41. Let's see. Tillman Funeral Home. Let's go to Tillman. Oh, no. Verify you are human. This may take a few seconds. Tillman. Okay, so that's Al. So this is the funeral home that Natalie Renee Carnegie's people, her cousin and them run, Tillman Funeral Home. Because that says Al. I've never met him. I don't think so anyway. Licensed funeral director and embalmer. And I don't see Daphne. Isaac Marion Hawk. Isaac Miller Jr. Well, maybe Daphne doesn't work there anymore. Maybe she was the one, Monticello in Tallahassee, Florida. I don't know. I don't understand how you can consider somebody to be dead and they're very much alive. Now, how do I search the obituaries? Tillman. Okay. Now, where did Rossell get buried? Rossell Goods. Let's see. Maybe they were trying to block this out. When I was telling you that my sister, she could have paid somebody from this place to help fake my death. I don't know. I'm trying to know. But these are obituaries of people that they have funeralized.
Where's Mantra?
I don't know. I hope he's okay. He was throwing up. I had to give him some lard. And he hasn't been outside to eat anything off the wall. It's a nice picture. So I don't know if I was allegedly funeral. Aileen Atkins, obituary, Tampa, Florida. Aleneatkins. Now look at how my name came up. So I always try to. So that's Eileen A.N. Atkins, 73 years old. Arlene Atkins, she died maybe September 55. Jacksonville, maybe this is my fake. Maybe this is my fake funeral. And they just gave me a different name. Added an R to my name, or maybe this is it. I'm assuming they can't give you your same birthday. They have to switch something up. So, Lord, which one do I go into? Elaine's? Arlene? So let's go look at Arlene. CL Page Mortuary in Jacksonville. Some kind of way they've got me connected to Jacksonville, and I don't even know nobody in Jacksonville, so I don't know why my name keeps coming up in Jacksonville. I don't know why it's taking so long to get my life back. I don't understand. But let's look up catfishers and see what we know about them. Hold on. Donnie Dwayne Flowers, Tampa, Florida. I don't understand. Nah, he knows everything, but he ain't gonna say nothing. Okay, 2507 East 20th Avenue. 1316 East. U.S. National Bank versus Donnie D. Flowers. The note was secured by mortgage on a property located in Hillsborough County. Defaulted. The plaintiff claims that Donnie D. defaulted on the note. That was in 2023. Gainesville Drive, Temple Terrace. 5116 Gainesville Drive, Temple Terrace. Detailed entity, division of corporation. P.O. Box. Wait a minute. That's the P.O. Box my sister used to send my stuff to. Wait a minute. Now that's the P.O. Box. Looks like the P.O. Box name that my sister used to. Dewan A. Flowers. Who is that? There it is. That's where my sister. Isn't that? I don't know. Let me not do that. Cumberland Drive. Paul Flowers. These all look like fraudulent names to me. Paul E. Hanner. Paul Hanner Jr. His name with just more fraud stuff, looks like to me. Changed the name of Dwayne. So what kind of business is this? What kind of business is it? Florida Profit Corporation. Florida Profit Incorporation. What the hell is that? 1991 date filed. 2016 changed. Officer, director. Do I need to go into any of this, Scott? No. Okay. Do I need to look up anything else? All right, I don't know how to get my life back, but I'm gonna just be looking these people up until they come tell me what I need to know, give me my information. Because this man, Donnie, definitely knows something. He knows plenty of something. I don't even know. Okay, wishing a happy birthday to my wife, Courtney Flowers.
Mama, how much longer?
I stopped Black Friday shopping ever since we met because it was the best deal I ever found. Oh, that's cute. Okay. All right, I guess that's it. This child wants her phone, so. All right, well, you all pray for me. Begging for 1,000,000,000 prayers. Peace, prosperity, protection, and peace, prosperity. Ola Avenue. What the hell? Donnie Flowers, 2918 North Ola Avenue. With Auntie Ava. Now, Flowers his name? No, that's weird. Can I take a picture of this while I'm on live? Do you know?
I don't think so.
Screenshot this page. Screenshot. This has got some interesting information on it. 1675 Walton Reserve Building, apartment 1102, Austell, Georgia. The hell is that?
Excuse me?
Might be able to find some of my money. Shit. People take your kindness for a weakness. Do I need to go into this? Nah. Okay. So I'm gonna just back out of this. I shouldn't have to track people down to get my money, my papers, my things. So I see 2918 North Ola Avenue. I don't even know if this is real. This might be some stuff that the hackers are concocting and putting in here to send me on a wild goose chase. 2918 North. You remember when we stayed with Auntie Ava on Ola across from the,
Cemetery?
yeah.
Yeah.
This address is coming up under Donnie Flowers.
Maybe.
Well, it says Donnie Flowers, then it has a period, then it says 2918 North. But if I put in Donnie Dwayne Flowers, Tampa, Florida, why would the address where Ava rented that house come up?
Maybe he bought it?
He could have bought it after we left.
Uh,
I guess he could have bought it.
or maybe it's another Dwayne Flowers.
Could be Donnie Flowers, another Donnie Flowers. Let's see. 2918 North Florida Avenue, Apartment 7, Tampa, Florida. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. There were no apartments there unless they done tore it down and made apartments there. That was a corner lot. They could have put several apartments on that corner lot right across from the funeral home. Funeral home? Why did I say that?
Cemetery?
Cemetery.
I don't know. If they're just gonna buy that one plot, I don't think so.
If you did 2 stories, they could put some little efficiencies there.
True. That's true.
At least 8 of them. 4 up top, 4 down bottom.
That's true, yeah.
Walton Reserve Building, apartment 1102. All right, so I leave all of the frustration and anger and confusion and disappointment right here on this page. I release myself from the confusion and the disappointment, from the thefts and the lies and the manipulations and the false marriage and etc. And I leave it in your hands, God, because I know you're capable. So in the name of Jesus, I release it and I go back to living my happy life. In Jesus' name, amen.
Really slept in today.
Mm-hmm.